All right, everybody, welcome back to the Fallen Kingdom Minecraft server. We rejoin you in Test Kingdom, the greatest kingdom ever made. If you missed the first video I did on this, I'll leave it linked in the description. I recommend you check it out. It'll give you some context, but a little recap. Basically, for a while now, I've been working on a Fallen Kingdom Java server project where we're taking the Fallen Kingdom world and turning it into a bit of a tower defense game mode where you have defensive structures, offensive troops, PvP, PvE, raiding other people's kingdoms. You get more of the info and the high-level overview in that first video, but I have a new update for you on some new stuff that's been added. We're doing a bit of a dev diary, as I said we were going to do, and there will be a playlist of it. So, in fact, if you're watching this in the future and you check that playlist, future videos will be in there, as well as the previous one. And, I mean, if you're watching this way down the road, then maybe the server is actually live. So, it'll be like, you know, said in the description of the video if you can join right now, should that be of interest to you. But anyway, so let me show you what's up next. So I showed you last time building out this path that we have here in Test Kingdom, placing down a few towers. The next thing is I showed you some structures, some preset buildings over on a build server, and now we have a way to actually place those down into the world. So you've got a blueprint here in your inventory, Builder's Hut, level 1. And the Builder's Hut is sort of what you'll start off with in order to get other blueprints for other preset structures throughout the world. So I'm going to find a place on the grid where I can put this. It snaps to the same 5x5 grid as all the tiles that your path is made out of, as well as all the towers that you place down. So obviously we want it to be green. That's a valid place to put it. You just can't have it be occupying a space right adjacent to the paths because that's reserved for your defensive towers. And obviously it can't be going over your path. That wouldn't be valid either. A good spot, considering the way that we oriented our path here, would be this area. Now you might use this for your path, but in my case, it's all completely open. And probably a good spot for us to build our first little preset structure here over in this area. So we'll place the building down, and then it slowly starts to build itself, placing down the blocks. We'll have to vary the amount of build time that goes into all these structures as they go. Right now, it's just a minute per. And also, it's kind of an ingenious way to do it because doing big schematic placements actually weighs down on server processing quite a bit. So if you just extend it out so that only a few blocks are placing every tick, then it makes it so the server doesn't get as overloaded as much. So really, not only is it cool, it's also strategic. So slowly but surely before our eyes, we'll get the Builder's Hut populating. I'll fast forward through this part. But once it's there, and we'll be at level 1, so this is coal level, then we'll interact with it a little bit. Now that it's done building, we've got the builder NPC that's spawned in on top of the coal block that's used to indicate that it's a level 1. And also the icon up here, the pickaxe, it corresponds to your primary color of your kingdom. So we've got the light blue wool on the flag, so you get the light blue concrete on top of the building, and it would change depending upon your flag. So let's go and talk to them. And we have the options here. We can upgrade the Builder's Hut to level 2. Obviously, this is going to cost a certain amount of gold or whatever the currency ends up being called. So I can do it right now, but in the game, you're going to have to work towards that. Or we can pick it up if we want to, and then we can move it to a different location. I'm happy with the way it's placed right now, so I don't need to do that. And then in here, there's the various blueprints. You saw these structures last time around on the build server, the second half of the first video. So we have the bank, you got the barracks, another Builder's Hut, if we want to do that, blacksmith, farm, and the mine. So why don't we grab the barracks, because it's kind of exciting. It's a large structure. And we'll also grab the mines. And we could, if we wanted to, upgrade the Builder's Hut to level 2. And then what it's going to do is it's going to start replacing blocks that occupy the difference between the two, and it's going to upgrade itself. But in the meantime, why don't we place down the barracks? Like I said, very, very large structure. So you're going to want to try to reserve some amount of area that you can place this in your kingdom, or go into it knowing that this structure is going to be very large. Granted, the amount of space or the amount of squares that we're going to give you allocated for your path, it means you'll probably have some space left over. But say we want to do this maybe over here, give ourselves a bit of variety. If I have the room for it, I might not actually have room for it over here because of the way that I built my path. Nope. Looks like we'll have to do it back on the other side. Not a big deal. We can build the mine over in that location. So let's start the thing off right here and get it going. This one obviously places a lot more blocks at a time because they're all set to a 1-minute timer right now. So in order to fit more blocks in, they got to go more at a time. And then we'll just place the mine. As I said, we do it over here for a little bit of variety. It doesn't so much matter where in the kingdom you place it as long as there's room to do so. And then you can always pick it up and place it somewhere else down the road if you want to. So we got the builder's hut level 2 that's finished now. And as you'll notice, now our builder is standing on top of an iron block instead of a coal block. So the progression is it starts with coal, it goes to iron, gold, diamond, and then emerald is going to be the highest here, tier 5. I don't know if we'll move on from there and add further levels as updates once the server is live, but at least that's what it's going to launch with for the time being. And you can see that the barracks is starting up. There's a pretty drastic difference between level 1 and level 2 for the barracks, but level 1, at least you have a basic camp here. This is what's going to be used to develop and house your troops, build your army that's going to be the offensive side of your kingdom. So the troops that are going to come in with you as you raid another kingdom, this is how you'll sort of form that army. We've also got Carol Baskin, who's, just an archer shooting at the pumpkin. Not necessarily gonna make it to the release. More of a placeholder, but just yep, it's Carol Baskin shooting it at some pumpkins. Just in case you were curious, then you'll have your trainer here. There's going to be more features alongside this. They're not fully implemented yet, but once that's added, you'll be building out your army using this one. Let's go check out the mine over here real quickly because it sort of leads into the next thing I'm going to show, which is another way to get a hold of various resources is you're basically going to, again, just for now, all you can do is upgrade or pick up. Features will be added later. But the idea is this is more of an interactive one where you're going to enter your mine, which, again, this is placeholder. Well, you'll enter the portal and it'll take you to your mining dimension. And that's another way that you're going to gather up resources that you can use in order to build up your army, your funds, whatever goes into your kingdom that you're looking to build up. But that said, now that you've seen this stuff, I figure we might as well actually head on over to the mines because they've been built out. And there are 5 levels, just like everything seems to be in multiples of 5. Your path squares are 5 by 5. All the buildings are multiples of 5 in their dimensions. You've got 5 levels of towers. You've got 5 levels of structures, 5 levels of mines. There's pretty much just 5 of everything. It's a nice number, and I'm satisfied with it. I always have to set my volume to multiples of 5. We can't have a volume set to like 18. That's unacceptable. Or just like if I go into my settings here, other than the weather, which is just on the bare minimum, it has to be multiples of 5. It can't be anything else. All right, let's check out the mines. So when you jump into the mine that is the end portal in your kingdom, you'll end up in your corresponding level mining world. So this is level 1 here, and the idea is they progressively get like deeper and deeper into the earth. And everywhere that you see the lapis blocks, those are placeholders, and that'll be the resources that you'll be able to mine. I'm in spectator mode because it kind of helps to navigate around and be able to see sort of the scope of the whole thing. They're pretty big. But level 1 still has some stuff poking out of the ground, but it looks great. The builders have really done a great job with this. In fact, they're trying to do work right now, so I gotta make it quick. They're like, hey, we're doing big pace, so there might be some lag. And then a couple other folks, they're like, hey, do you mind just waiting until the video's done? I'm like, oh, I'll be fast. Look at the equipment though. Isn't that cool? It's like you got bulldozers and cranes and stuff inside of the mines. I mean, I don't know. I just think it looks pretty slick. And obviously you have the statue at the entrance. The statue seems to be kind of a common thing here. And then we got another one of the equipment machines over here. I think they really outdid themselves on this. But again, this is just level 1. So kind of above ground. And then it moves a little bit deeper. Another floating head spectating right there. And this will be the level 2. Now we're fully enclosed underground. And once again, you've got the lapis, those will be the resources that you're mining, and those will contribute to the balance of your kingdom. Forging new gear, forging armies, defenses, things of that nature. We still have yet to balance out what the cost is and what the resources are for all of the different equipments and stuff that you're able to get. But at least we're getting all the ingredients into place, and then it's going to be a matter of just like, tweaking variables here and there. Okay, this tower is going to cost such and such resources in order to be able to build these units. Dude, oh man, it's looking so cool. Okay, this is tier 2. Again, 5 tiers. 5 of everything here. These are out of order ever so slightly. That's tier 4, so we'll just come back to that in one moment. And move on over to, this is tier 3 over here. So now we got like some flames inside the eyes of the statue and all that, and just slowly working our way. I like how they've managed to give it a feel of going a little bit deeper and deeper into the earth every time that you go to another level. And of course, the resources will increase in value as you get higher level. The things that you're mining that are spawning where the lapis is located, it'll continue to go up in value. There's also going to be sort of PvP elements in here. I don't want to do the Warzone kind of thing that you see on many other servers where, like, if you go in with all your good gear and someone unalives you, like, you just lose it all. I don't like that. So we'll have another system where it's not like you lose everything, but maybe if you have a kingdom with which you're an enemy, right? And then they're in the mine at the same time as you are. If one of you takes out the other, like, you might get a reward or you might get some gear, but you're not going to lose all your stuff. I just don't like the fact that you just don't even want to use the good gear that you've worked up to because you might just lose it. So I don't think that's something you should have to worry about, and therefore we're designing it so that it's not something you will have to worry about. That was tier 3. Let's go into tier 4, which has these really, really cool crystals hanging from the ceiling. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Like some ice and sea lantern and glass crystals and stuff. And then you just got a bunch of them kind of poking out through all the mines over here. I just like that element to it. It's very unique. Pretty cool stuff. They all have fairly similar layouts. The entrance room, branches of caves, and then you seem to have a couple of really open, large areas. But again, like, you'll be in here at the same time as other people, and then it's just going to be a matter of how you want to handle that. I think if you're neutral or if you're friendly with other kingdoms, they're not going to be like a PvP situation. It's really going to only be specifically players who are in kingdoms that you have set to enemy. So here we have tier 5. As you can see, we got a lot of bedrock around, so we've really dug down deep. Some like bone remnants up there in the top of the ceiling. Got like a skull in the side there. I don't know. I think it's looking pretty awesome. I'll actually leave the rest of tier 5 a bit more of a mystery because I think, I might not as well show everything. Leave some of it up to your exploration when you get on the server. Hopefully, when it launches, which again, if it is launched at this point, if you're watching down the road, then I'll make sure to note that in the description, as well as like the IP and all that good stuff to go along with it. But once again, shout out to the builders. You guys are doing a fantastic job. It's looking awesome so far, so much appreciated. But that's not all. Still a couple more things. Just want to go over and show some more preset builds over in another location here. This is the blacksmith building, which is one of the ones that you'll place inside your kingdom. You've seen the rest of these already in the last video, although again, if you haven't seen the first video I posted, check it out, link in the description. This is the coal level, iron level, gold, diamond, and emerald. Subtle progression between them, but still noticeable. And then I can't remember if I called it out last time, but everywhere you see yellow here, that's what corresponds to your primary kingdom color. So that's why over here with the builder's building, we've got yellow, and then the red was actually just added. So you didn't see it when I spawned in the building, but I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we also had the secondary color integrated as well? So we might do little tweaks here and there to these presets so it integrates the secondary color a bit more, just like, we've got the handle, and then we've got the metal part of the hammer, if it were, an actual hammer. And then the blacksmith building as well, this is where you do things like forging armor and weapons for raiding and defending and that whole deal. So that's what's new as far as the interactive NPC buildings, but we've also got a few more presets that have been built out over here that are more just like aesthetic additions if you want to add in some preset huts into your kingdom. I have also made the request. Let's add in the ability to have the presets for the classic Fallen Kingdom houses that you see in the original Fallen Kingdom world on top of the ones that you see here. So these will just be things that like, hey, yes, you can place down blocks as long as they're, not interfering with your presets and your path and your towers in whatever empty other space. You can just build whatever you want. But if you want an easy way to add some new little builds into your kingdom, you'll have certain templates and presets to choose from. Should you wish to do that if you are building inept, like myself, sadly. But yeah, I mean, you can build hills, you can terraform, by hand placing things, materials that you've gotten hold of, but that's all available as long as it's not interfering with anything else that's actually like an interactable structure you place down. So you could spawn one of those in, and then you could add in your own little tweaks to it and make it your own if you want to. And then we've got, little agricultural landscape elements, trees, windmills that you can spawn in. So kind of cool stuff all around. So that's the update for now. There are also a couple more things that I'm not going to show yet just because I'll leave some to tease and things for the next video. So we'll check out that stuff next time around. But for now, hope you've enjoyed the update. And thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited to see this thing through. Every time I get on, every time we test new things, every time I'm shown new progress, I'm like, dude, this is coming together. So again, no release date yet, because I don't want to establish expectations that are then broken, but I'll keep you updated through these videos and things of that nature. So stick around, sub to the channel. That way you'll know when things like this are happening. Like if you liked. And again, playlist in the description if you want to look through the dev diary should you be watching this in the future. I'll see you next time.